Hey everybody, we are going to make some fried apple pies today. I don't know if you've heard of fried dried apple pies or just fried apple pies. If you talk about the dried apple pies, you have to take these and you have to cook them down and rehydrate them and cook them for about 3 to 4 hours to make dried apple pies. So we're not going to be making dried apple today. We're just going to be making fried apple pies. And these are some apples I fixed the other day. They've got cinnamon and cranberries in them. And it's got some pretty good little chunks of apple. And I cut up 3 Granny Smiths and 5 or 6 Pixie Crunch apples. And these are kind of tart apples. And I put a little sugar in them and a little butter and just cooked them for about, 5 to 10 minutes, just till they got soft, started getting soft, because you don't want them to get real mushy. Now the Granny Smiths kind of tend to cook up a little bit, but now the Pixie Crunch held their shape a little better. You got little chunks of apples in there. They don't cook up as much. Now I took these out of the refrigerator and I put them in the microwave to get them warm, because that way they'll cook quicker when I cook them on the stove. And what you're going to do is you're going to make the crust is kind of like making a biscuit, but you don't put hardly as much oil in it because you want the crust to be a little tougher, okay? If it's real flaky, it's going to fall apart on you. So you don't want to put as much oil. And I've got about 2 cups of flour here. I don't measure exactly when I do this, so I'm just giving you an estimation. The main thing to remember is, regardless of how much flour you put in it, you got to put enough milk to make it into a dough ball. That, you put your oil in first. This is probably, it's probably about 6 tablespoons. No, it's probably not that much, because this is a 1/4 cup and it's not hardly full. So you can kind of just judge by that. And I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to get my spoon over here. Now I'm going to put in some milk. I'm just going to pour a little in, because this is just something you got to kind of learn to eyeball. Normally I would do this with my hands, but I'm going to do it this way today. Now if you look right now, you can see that's too dry. That's not going to work. So you put in just a little bit more milk. Not a lot, just a little.
Kathy, if I was going to make this, could I just go buy a can of that apple filling and use it, or can't?
If you don't want to make your own filling, you can go buy some, you can use apple butter. You can use apple pie filling, cherry pie filling, peach pie filling, whatever kind of pies you want to make. You can make your own crust or own filling, or you can buy store-bought. Now, if you look now, this is wet. It's not thin, but it's wet, and that's the way we want it. Then we're going to take some flour, and we're going to put it on the mat here. And I'm going to take this dough ball out. Right there. Let me put my milk up. I don't want to leave it out here in the heat too long.
How long is that red shirt not going to get covered in white, Kathy?
Well, probably not very long. Because I'm just...
You want me to get you an apron?
Yeah, I'm all right. Now, this is called kneading. You just kind of keep folding it over. And you want to knead this quite a bit, because we want it to be a little tougher. So we're going to knead it a little bit. And I'm not doing it like I normally would, because I'm trying not to push too hard with my arm. But you just keep doing it like this. Just keep working in that dough a little bit.
I'd help her, but I have no clue what I'm doing.
And this is, you can't advise somebody as you go on this. You got to watch somebody do it a time or two. then you kind of have an idea what they're talking about.
You grew up eating and cooking. I just grew up eating,
Yeah.
not cooking. I had other jobs, Kathy.
Now, this is just about where it needs to be. Now what you're going to do now is you're going to take a little piece about like this, about the size of a golf ball. Hand me my rolling pin over there, honey. Pause it and get that rolling pin for me. Yeah.
You're live.
Okay, now you're going to roll this out. And if you want a bigger pie, then take a bigger piece of dough off. Okay? Now, I'm going to flip it over and roll it this way a little bit. Because I'm trying to, you want to kind of try to get a circle. Now, when it gets about that thin, look at it there. You can kind of not see your hand under it, but you can see how thin it is. Now, we're going to take 1 tablespoon. We're going to put that in the middle. Then we're going to fold this over like this. Take your fingers and press down around the edges like this. Kind of seal it in. Now, I'm going to put just a little bit of flour on here because I'm going to put 3 or 4 pies on here. Now let's take off another one. Get another dough ball here.
What kind of flour was
Pull
it,
my
honey?
sleeve up there, please.
What kind of flour was that again?
This is self-rising. You don't. A lot of people don't like to use self-rising for this, but it don't hurt it. If self-rising is all you got, it won't hurt it. Yep. Come out there. I actually need to put my dough right there so it's not in the way.
Wait till she starts cooking like Julia Child. Stuff goes flying.
Put my batter on there. Now I'm going to pull it over. I'm going to take my fingers and press down and crimp these edges. And push that down a little bit. Now, I'm going to take these 2 over here to the stove. And I have to wash my hands first. Can't stand all that goofy stuff on me. Okay, now we're going to put a little bit of oil in here. A lot of people like to use lard and butter. And I just like a little bit of oil. I don't use too much. Turn my burner on. And I'm going to spread it around here.
You don't deep fry yours, do you?
No, I don't deep fry. I can't handle so much grease. I'm not as grease tolerant as some people are. I just don't care for it. But now, sometimes these will get little holes in them, and it won't hurt anything. It may make it a little dark, you know. Pies, they're just pies. That's what they are. So, you know, you always run the risk of... and that's why I try to not overfill them. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to get your pan up pretty hot when you put it in, but then you got to turn it down pretty quick. And you let them cook on each side. I usually turn them twice. And it's kind of like baking on top of the stove in a sense. But they're a little different. But I let my pan start getting hot. Because I don't want to put it in there and it's not hot because it's just going to soak up all that grease and get ooey. It's not going to, you know, you got to let it start getting hot. A lot of times the way I do it is just dropping a little piece of flour in it just to see if that flour sizzles in the grease.
I don't hear no sizzle.
It's not, you don't hear it, you watch it.
Yeah.
See them little pieces of, see what it's doing right there?
Yep, it's bubbling.
Forming those little bubbles. Now I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, down to about 3, down to a low number. And I'm going to put this in here. Okay.
Now do you turn it down?
I've got it turned down. Let me rinse my hand off here again. And I usually will take a lid and put on top of it, but you don't have to. Okay, I'm going to turn it back up just a little bit. And sometimes I'll move it around like that so I get the oil around all the biscuit part. You got to be careful though. You can't be rough with it. Okay, now we're going to let it cook there for about, let's put it on 2 minutes and see what it does. You want to make sure you can see little bubbles though and hear it kind of spewing, because that way you know it is cooking. You just have to really learn to adjust your temperature on your stove. The best thing to cook these in are a cast iron skillet or a cast iron hoe cake maker. Those work better than anything, but I don't use cast iron much anymore because where I have the arthritis, cast iron is so heavy. I just don't do it because you got these glass top stoves and all you got to do is drop it one time and bust that glass top, you know, and I don't want to do that. And sometimes whenever I get mine in the pan like this, I'll still go around it and crimp those edges a little bit. Now, a lot of people don't, yeah, didn't that burn your finger? No, it don't burn my finger. Sometimes I'll take a little look at them, see how it's looking. It's not hardly dark enough yet, so let me turn it up just a little bit more.
I don't hear no more sizzling.
Then when I flip it over, I put just a little bit more oil in it again. Do it right like that. See how the pie looks? Now it's time to turn it back down. I can tell that. Now, I put just a little bit of oil in here again. Slide it around kind of like that. Now, let me turn this down just a little bit more because that'll start cooking. Once your skillet gets good and hot, that's you got to kind of learn how to get this temperature down. Because if you don't, you're going to burn your pies.
Who's these pies for today, Kathy?
These are for my neighbor Ron.
Ron and Carol.
Now, since I flipped it over like this, I'm going to put this lid on there because that holds in the heat and that helps that dough bake. You know, it'll help it bake just a little bit more. Just kind of help it along a little bit. And before I'm done, I'll hold it up on these edges right here and kind of brown those edges a little bit before I take it out.
Tell us a story, Kathy. You got 2 minutes. Who'd you make pies for when you was young?
Well, Lord, I made cook for everybody when I was young. I've always loved to cook and share with other people. I mean, I just like to. And I used to sit and watch my mom make biscuits and my granny make biscuits, and I begged to make biscuits, you know. And of course, back then, when you're cooking for a big family, you haven't got time to show anybody how to make biscuits. So I'd sit and watch them. And when I got about 12-year old, I started practicing. Mom got to where she'd let me practice making them, you know. And then it's a good thing I did because I married the first time when I was 14 years old. And had 4 kids. Always cooked for my kids. Eating out in a restaurant didn't happen. buying heat up stuff for the microwave. Didn't happen. You know, you cooked. You had to cook. So now let's see this one. See what it looks like on this side. Yeah, need to turn it back over because you don't want it to get too brown on that one side. I'm trying to feel to see if that's got done. Once you cook for a while, you can kind of tell. What I was talking about putting it on the side, you do it like this. Prop it up on the side, and it'll cook that dough right there on the end. Because that doesn't ever actually touch the skillet. So you're trying to let that cook.
Did I ever tell you about my dad when he was the youngest?
Let me get a paper towel here.
And his grandma used to cook him or bake him, whatever you call it, his own little special apple pies. Mm-mm. Yeah, he always has a sweet tooth. He's like you, not like me. But that was his special grandma thing. Did you ever fix these for Nate or Milo, Isaiah?
Well, I don't know if they, younger kids, when you talk about pies like this, they don't know what you're talking about because they don't have them anymore because younger people don't know how to cook these things. So it's kind of been lost. Now, my daughter knows how to cook them, but now a lot of times she will use canned biscuits for her dough. And people love them just the same. And you can do that too. If you don't want to make dough like I did, get you a can of Grand's biscuits and roll them out. Robert's over here telling me how to cook you all.
No, it looks like it's burning.
Trouble. Well, it's not, dear. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, look at there.
Yeah.
So the biscuit dough don't get like real big and puffy?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll let it just a little bit more on that side. And used to I'd make them on an iron skillet, like a hoe cake pan. And I could put 4 at a time on it. So, it's not taking you as long. But if you're not making that many, it's not that bad. It's just about done. I think it is. Now, I'll set this off for just a second. A lot of times when I make them, though, I'll make 5 or 6 and put them on a plate. And but I always clean out my pan after each time because that way you don't get those burnt crumbs on it. And I'll set it right there for just a second, and I'll then I'll get my dough back out here. Let's see. Make this one just a little bit bigger, maybe. Okay, now. Some people take a fork and press around the ends of it here. This is just the way I always did it. I always just made me a I've got my thing here right in the way. Let me get my... Go ahead and put it on this.
They sell these apple pies, the Amish do at the Apple Festival, don't they, Kathy?
Yeah.
In Casey County, which was back at the end of September, so that's over.
Okay, now we got 2 more pies. Let me get my skillet back on here and get it hot. Okay.
I can hear the sizzle.
Okay. Wash my hands here. So now we started on 2 minutes. I probably have flour all over me. Whenever I get done, I have flour all over the stove, all over the counter. I have it everywhere. But these are really good pies. Some people call them hand pies. I never heard them call that until later on in life. You know, people call them hand pies, but I always call them fried pies. That's what I always heard my granny and my mom call them, was fried pies. I'll tell you what's something that's really good too, like blueberry, cherry, peach, any of the flavors that you like are really good like this. You know, if you want to have kind of an old-timey, and you can cook these too and let them cool, put them in a baggie and send them in lunch with people, you know. So they, you know, they're good. Good, good, good. But they're not hard to make. It's just it just takes a little practice getting it down and realizing, understanding how thin to get your dough, and to be careful. You know, use your flour so things don't stick. And it's but this is just old country cooking that a lot of things people are losing today. Okay, now I take it off for just a second so that and I kind of look under it, put my hand like that to flip it over.
Smells like pancakes.
Kinda. Now I put just a little more oil again, not a lot. Years ago, people would, these things would be floating in oil. That's just the way they cooked. Now, put my lid back on top. Set my timer. I cook them about 2 minutes on each side. About a minute through, though, I start watching them because, you know, they can burn so easy.
Did you ever make one of these for Evan?
I don't know if I did or not.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I think Evan and I made some blueberry ones one day and some lemon. I took lemon pie filling and made lemon pies. You can make about anything like this. You know, you can put any kind of filling in them that you like. I just use apple this time of year because fall of the year, apple's kind of more what you like. Apple. You could use pumpkin in this. You could take pumpkin pie filling and use it. If it's already, I don't know if you'd have to get it thicker. I don't know if it'd be too wet. Some things, you can't put real wet batter in it, you know, that's runny, because it would probably make your dough come apart. Okay, now, I always take the lid off and watch them when they get to this point. When it beeps for the first minute. I kind of look at them. That one's already getting brown on that side, so I'm going to put it up on its side. Same thing with that one. These cook pretty quick, you know. Turn it down just a little bit more and my neighbor usually eats at 5 o'clock. So we'll have these ready in time. He can have them for dessert tonight. What
kind of apples did you give him the other day?
Ambrosia.
He said they were sweet and not real crunchy, but he liked them.
Yeah.
Those came from the Amish, Case County.
Yeah. Okay, guys, you can see these two are just basically done. Now, this is what I was talking about. Sometimes, you know, they'll crack. They'll get a little crack. That won't hurt them. You just have to be easy with them so you don't knock all the filling out. But even with the best you can do, you might get little cracks or something.
There's the little crack. She moved so fast I couldn't get it.
Right there. It's right there. And then sometimes, like right here, this will kind of open up, which it's no big deal. If you don't have real runny filling, it's not going to hurt it. Okay, these are done. So I'm going to take these up. And there is the pies. Apple cranberry pies. And I'm sure my neighbor Ron would probably let you know how they taste if he's up here, but just try to make you some pies. Try to make some fried pies. See you all later.